Here we go. Hey everyone, I'm Joe. I'm gonna let you in on one of my guilty pleasures. That is Taco Bell. Because I'm a chef, I like to make things at home. Today, I'm gonna recreate the Doritos Locos taco and see if homemade is better than fast food. First things first, we're gonna make our tortilla Doritos Locos taco shell. I have all of my mise en place and ingredients here, starting with my Doritos. OG nacho cheese flavor, not the Cool Ranch. We're gonna put the chips into the food processor, flour, masa, some of this nacho cheese powder dust, magical stuff that bumps up the nacho cheesy goodness. A little bit of salt. And last but not least, baking powder. That's gonna act as a little leavening agent. Here we go. And all right, I have this here finely ground, and then I have two more ingredients. We have water and lard. Lard, rendered pork fat. If you want to keep this vegetarian, no problem, just sub out a little bit of vegetable shortening. I'm gonna get the lid back on. Now I'm pouring in my lard slowly, and then followed by my water. All right, dough ball. Everything's come together nicely. You can see it's cleaned off the sides of the bowl here. We got this beautiful orange Dorito color. I'm curious how this cooks up. If the color gets lighter or darker, we're definitely going in the right direction. All right, pop this into the fridge. I'll see you and you in 30 minutes. All right, let's get into this. I have my tortilla station here, a couple pieces of parchment paper, a heavy pan if you do not have a tortilla press. I have another pan heating up here, kind of like a griddle, and a landing zone for all of my taco shells. I'm going to start with a small ball of dough. We're going for about the size of a golf ball, maybe a little bigger, not a baseball, not a bowling ball. That might be a burrito. Keep this wrapped so it doesn't dry out. In between the parchment paper, pan on top, good bit of weight. The moment of truth, we have a tortilla. We're gonna peel it off very gently, lay it onto the griddle. You could hear it sizzle. I'm gonna let that start sizzling and make another tortilla. For me, Taco Bell is one of those things that's like nostalgic. I'll eat Taco Bell just about any time. Not ashamed to admit that. You can see the tortilla here is cooking up. It's starting to dry out a little bit. We're gonna get up underneath there and flip it. Here we are. Spatula flown in. There you can see the tortilla starting to hold up. Much easier than flipping eggs or a pancake. We're not gonna cook the tortilla all the way on the griddle here. I wanna try baking these. I think baking versus frying is going to give us this really nice crunch on the outside. I'm not sure what Taco Bell does, but I'm going with the bake method here. I wanna find out if it's better than fast food. I'm finishing up my last taco tortilla here. I'm gonna transfer it. I got an oven preheated to 400 degrees Fahrenheit, 3 minutes, super fast, just to crisp them up. All right, here we are. Tortillas hot right out of the oven. While they're still hot, carefully with your hands, pick them up, and we're going to drape them into our taco molds here. And while still warm, Doritos Locos tacos at Taco Bell have this seasoning mix on the outside. I don't know if it's more ground Doritos. I have nacho cheese powder. I think that's going to help emulate and replicate the OG original. I'm gonna set these aside, let them cool, let them take their shape, and work on my taco filling. If there's one thing I've made more than pasta, it's probably taco filling. I'm gonna show you a couple little easy tricks along the way, starting with dicing your onions and garlic. Everybody always cries, has a hard time with this, asking for tips and tricks. Food processor helps along the way. Half an onion, couple cloves of garlic, a little bit of oil in here. Throw on the lid. And we're pulsing on and off, on and off. We want to pulse so we don't make a vegetable puree here. I'm going to pop this open and just scrape down the sides to make sure we don't have any rogue chunks One more time. We are fully chopped, not a paste. Because I already have oil in here from the chopping, I don't need any oil in my pan. We're gonna start this over medium-low heat. I wanna give the onions and garlic a little head start ahead of the ground beef, making sure that we don't have any of that raw onion or garlic flavor. And then we're gonna boost it up with some more dried onions and dried garlic. I don't think they use fresh onions or garlic in the Taco Bell version, but we're going to double down on our onions and our garlic because more better, more delicious. Looking good here, soft, cooked down. Time to add our ground beef. I'm gonna clear a little landing zone down here in the bottom. I like to use the 80-20 stuff, 80% beef, 20% fat. Fat is flavor. In this case, we're trying to out taco the bell. We're gonna slowly start to break this down. Time to add all of our spices. Some ground cumin, ground coriander, cayenne pepper, garlic powder, granulated onions, paprika, chili powder, and then a couple of the secret additions here. Beef bouillon cube, ground. Boost up that beefy flavor. And then a little smidgen of MSG. I know Taco Bell does it. I think we need it to compete. And at the end of the day, MSG has a bad rap, but there's really nothing wrong with it. And a little bit of sugar. And last but not least, salt to season. I'm gonna get those spices worked in here to the beef. And then I'm gonna actually switch tools. We're gonna lose the spatula onto a beef potato multitasking masher. And this is actually going to get down in there and help us make sure we have no big beef nuggets or beef chunks. If you don't break up your beef at this point while it's still raw, you're gonna have a really hard time breaking it down later. This thing's awesome. All right, let this cook down for about 5 minutes. It's smelling good, getting nice and brown around the edges. Let our ground beef braise, get nice and tender. Deglazing is just adding some sort of liquid to a pan that has caramelized and gotten a little bit of crusty bits on the bottom. The deglazing is going to help incorporate all of that back into the mix. All right, we're gonna let this cook down for about 10 more minutes. We're really trying to duplicate that stewed, beefy goodness that you find inside of Taco Bell. We are on our way there. All right, our water has cooked down. Time for one of the last additions here. We're gonna use cornstarch to thicken the mix, give it a beautiful consistency. I've reserved some of the water here. We're gonna mix the cornstarch with the cold water, a little whisk, and right down into our beef mixture. We'll bring this right back up to a simmer. It's starting to thicken up. Now I am going to employ my last hack, is an immersion blender. With a low speed, we're just going to buzz up about a quarter of this. We're not gonna puree the whole thing. There we go. Now I think we're ready to assemble our tacos. It's taco time. I have my Doritos Locos taco shells here, all of my toppings, and my sour cream gun. If you guys are a Taco Bell connoisseur like myself, you know you cannot make Taco Bell tacos without the caulking gun that loads up the sour cream. Obviously, we're going with Supremes here because if you're not eating Supreme, how else are you living? Starting with our taco meat on the bottom. Obviously, we're not too worried about portion control. Next comes the sour cream, the moment I've been waiting for. Oh my goodness. Sour cream gun, so incredibly satisfying. This is actually a frosting gun. We couldn't get the sour cream gun, but did the job. Next is our shredded lettuce. We're using iceberg here, maximum crunch factor, shredded cheese, and then last but not least, our tomatoes. I have my tacos assembled. I need some Taco Bell tacos to compare these with, and I want to taste them side by side. All right, I have my two versions of tacos. Taco Bell Doritos Locos OG original tacos. And then I have our homemade tacos with the Doritos ground up into the shells. Judging just based on visuals alone here, I think we did a really good job. Both looking fully loaded. I'm just gonna get right in there. Try the Taco Bell ones first. I'm doing this for science, obviously. Super thin, crispy shell. Ground beef, always the same, never wavering. The sour cream, nice cooling note in the center. I mean, I could eat a good dozen of those, but Now I'm excited to see how our homemade version compares to the mix. That's pretty awesome. Our filling, I love our filling more. That homemade filling, I think it's a little meatier, a little juicier. The flavors kind of shine a little more. You actually get all the different spices, the onions, the garlic, the chilies. If I had to eat another one of these, definitely gonna go with the homemade one. And not just because I made them, promise. They're both really good. Thanks for watching. If there's any other fast foods you want me to try and see if homemade is better than the fast food, please leave a comment below and we'll do this again. Do you guys notice the tacos on my shirt? I mean, I live for taco day.